Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Hope you guys are hanging in there, getting through this holiday season, staying safe, looking forward to the vaccine. Oh my God, maybe our kids will actually go to school this year. It's looking pretty good. All right, but let's get into the fun, the real juice that we want to talk about. You guys, for part one of the reunion of Potomac has started. Now, I know some of you don't watch it, but this is all very relatable and juicy as hell. Let me tell you what's going on. So a lot of shit went on last night. One of the funny things that happened was Ashley Darby, who's married to the older white Australian man, was getting mad at Candace. And she said, "You attacked my family and my child." And Robin goes, "She never said anything about your child." And she said, "Yeah, she did. She said that he looked just like Michael." And Robin goes, "And that's an insult?" And she's like, "Yeah." The way they edited it, I'm like, "Oh my God, she just admitted that she was hurt, that someone said that her baby looked just like supposedly the love of her life," which was just hilarious and a little bit overlooked because what people were really focusing on was the very end. Now, Monique kind of got kicked off the show mid-season. Not kicked off, but she wasn't being filmed a lot because she got in a physical altercation with Candace. So the other women were like, "We don't want to be around a woman that's like hitting another woman." And I've talked about that before. But Monique is pissed because she wants to stay on the show and she feels like she's been attacked and she feels like the physical attack that happened with Candace was egged on, and in the courts they brought it up to the courts, but it's since been all dropped. Okay. So they do this reunion, and they do this reunion in yellow. Oh, we don't have a picture of them in yellow. They look so much better in this one in purple, you guys. They made them all wear yellow and a bright canary yellow. Now, Andy wore a yellow tie, which looked pretty cute. If guys are thinking about throwing in a yellow tie, I like the look. The women, like hair and makeup wise, all looked really pretty, but this is just a color of a dress as an evening gown that I think is a very difficult choice. Um, because they want to glam it up, so they like put like appliques of silver and diamonds, and it just was a lot. Anyway, I don't know why they got stuck with yellow, but Monique says to Gizselle. Now, Gizselle is the beautiful girl who's been divorced from her pastor husband, but they have this season said that they're going to make it work and get back together. And Monique has a full-on binder. Now, in the past, girls have brought out a phone with text messages, or maybe they've printed out one piece of paper of a text exchange. No, you guys, Monique made a binder like you would for like 5 subjects in school, and each subject has their names. And then as Giselle's name, the binder on her tab, it says last lady, because you're called first lady when you're married to a big preacher in a big church. Okay. So she calls her the last lady. And she's like, "Well, really, you're going to talk about your fake relationship with Jamal, your ex-husband slash pastor that's had babies with all these different women?" And she's like, "What are you getting at, Monique?" And she whips out the binder and she said, "Well, I had a woman reach out to me that is also a pastor who's been having an affair with your husband or been dating your husband for ex-husband for a year now or something. And I even have the text exchange between them." So this woman must have reached out to Monique on DM and then started sending her proof that she is having a relationship with Giselle's man. And which is interesting because this girl is a pastor too, and he's a pastor. But however, he is divorced. So this girl probably thought, "Oh my God, I'm dating someone, that's amazing in the industry of preaching." I don't know. So she sends her photos that Monique's looking at of them in bed together. And then the woman says to Jamal, "Why are you seeing me? Here's an article saying that you and your Real Housewife of Potomac girlfriend, ex-wife, Gizselle, are trying to make it work." And he's like, and then she reads to the group. He writes back to his girlfriend, "That's all fake. It's just for reality TV." And Giselle's just sitting there. And, Robin, who's her good friend, is like, "Why are you doing this, Monique?" And then Candace is like, "Oh, yeah, you've been sitting on this for a while. This is terrible." And then she goes, "Well," then Andy says, "Well, how do you know there's a real text?" And she goes, "Well, is Jamal's number 401 beep, 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 beep?" And then Giselle says, um, "Yeah, that's Jamal's number." And Candace says, "Well, that's unfortunate." And then she goes, "So, you know what? While you're hanging out with Pastor Holy Whore," I thought that was an amazing line, and he's throwing his big dick around the congregation, "is Jamal going to come out and be behind you on the reunion today?" And she's like, "No, Jamal won't be here." And Karen goes, "Of course he won't." So they all think that their relationship, that they were kind of in it together, her and her ex-husband Jamal, for a storyline to say we're actually getting back together, when she's aware that he's seeing other people and he's playing along for a storyline. That's what they're accusing Gizselle of. And it was just pretty juicy. And there's 4 other tabs in that binder and 2 other episodes. So we're pretty excited for that. Speaking of pastors, okay, basically, you guys, the entire Bravo franchise network is just turning into pastor drama, because on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, we have this female pastor named Mary. And I Live for Bravo, which is an Instagram account, somehow they got a hold, according to them, audio of her preaching to her congregation, saying that she needs more money from them and that they're poor people. And even if they have money, but they're stingy, they're still poor because they're not giving it to her. And it was her birthday and she only got 14 birthday cards. And I'm assuming money was in those birthday cards, but she only received 14 of them, and kind of bullying her congregation into giving her more money. I don't know if that audio is accurate. It sounds just like her. I don't know how this girl from I Live for Bravo got it, but I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I just don't get how people can continue to go back to these people and give them money when they're actually watching their lives unfold and watching the labels and the designer clothes that they're wearing on Bravo, and then being like, "Okay, let me give you 10% of my income." I do not get it at all. There's a new housewife on Real Housewife of Atlanta named Drew. And actually, she was in White Chicks. Yes, she was. She's a working actress, but they actually featured her part in White Chicks. She played Marlon's fiance, and she was in the scene I was in. I was the sales girl, and I'm trying to help Marlon as a female get into this tight outfit. And the words are very sexual, like, "Oh, you're never going to get this big old head in this tiny hole." And her character is like, "Oh, you better not." And she's getting all mad at him. And anyway, she comes on the show with her husband, Drew, and they already are getting a divorce. They already, first season out, first episode out, they are breaking up already. So thought that was kind of interesting. Southern Charm, talk about breakups. You guys, this is a big Bravo episode, but this is all juicy. So on Southern Charm, there's this girl, Madison, and she was dating Austin, and they broke up. Well, now Austin's hanging out with Kristen Cavallari at someone's house with the other cast member, Craig, who makes the pillows, and her best friend, who's a hairdresser, and they're all singing "We're Never Getting Back Together," and everyone's assuming this is his message to Madison, that they're never getting back together because they broke up on the show last week. And I just have to say to all of them, good for you. You are taking this job seriously. You are going out on the weekends, and you are giving us content to keep this show going and our interest going in it. Because it's I'm losing interest. But then I see this and I'm like, good for you. Also, I thought Kristen Cavallari was dating Jeff Dye, the comedian. So maybe she's dating both. Maybe they're just hanging out. Craig had his shirt off and was snuggling with the dog. Maybe he's got something going on. I don't know, but it was pretty juicy. All right, you guys. I am very excited to introduce you to the newest housewife of Real Housewives of OC, Elizabeth Vargas. Now, you don't know a lot about this woman, and even if you don't watch OC, you're going to find this interview extremely interesting. Trust me. She came from a very interesting childhood. one that we've never really heard before, and she gets very honest about it. On the show, she's quite vague and secretive about her marriage and how it came about. She answers a lot of those questions on here, and she's pretty funny and very cool, and I think you're gonna be very intrigued by this. So here we go with Real Housewives of OC newest cast member, Elizabeth Vargas. I have a very exciting interview because this is the first time we're meeting newest housewife of the Real Housewives of OC, Elizabeth Vargas. And I love that she has her own vodka. We're going to talk about that. First of all, I love that it's vodka.
Thank you.
And I like your label.
Thank
I like
you.
the brown with the turquoise and the cream.
Oh, yeah, a little love in there.
Yeah, I like it. Girl, so many questions.
Oh, my God, so many answers, and I hope I can answer them all in the little time that we have today.
So I've always watched The Real Housewives of OC. Of course, it's a little bit of a different year with watching COVID and what on politically. I didn't know that I would enjoy reliving COVID, but I actually am enjoying it a lot.
It's crazy.
I kind of because I'm watching you guys and last night's episode, which is the most recent, and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh wait, because they'd go like 20 days after.
Yeah.
And I live in LA County, which is stricter than Orange County, but
100%.
But still everyone was on that initial 8-week lockdown.
Yes.
And so I'm like thinking, wait, when was the first time I was able to ever do something again? It was Memorial Day. And then I'm watching you guys. And so I thought they did a great job in keeping your story going and having you guys call each other. And then prior to COVID, it was fun getting to know you and seeing what's going on. So my first question about a new housewife or any housewife, were you a fan of the show? And how did you get on it? Like, who approached you? Did you watch it? Were you me who was watching it since day one, or what's your history with it?
That is so funny. I always get that question. It's the same answer. I had never seen it.
Really?
No. And in fact, when I went in for the interview, I thought it was Desperate Housewives.
The show that's been canceled for 10 years. That was
I never
scripted?
watched TV.
You truly don't.
And so
what do you do in your free time?
Well, I owned Edge Music, which was music video streaming service, and all I did was work from all day long with corporate, and then in the evenings from 4 to 4 a.m., so about 12 hours with my tech team. Because they're from India. And so I never really watched TV. I watched my own network to try and see and build it for 9 years. So then when I was, trying to do a show for my network, because I just couldn't get it to succeed, I was like, maybe if I do television, people will pay attention to me.
It's really interesting because now that the show's been on for so long, all these shows, and there's a new franchise, Salt Lake City.
Yes.
And to me, as someone who has studied it, watched it, analyzed it, could teach a class on it, one day I hope that there is a class that I'll be teaching at USC about housewives, because I really could do it.
I'll be your understudy.
Yes, okay. It's very interesting, the girls that come on that say they haven't watched it, and I believe them, and they are the better, more enjoyable housewives, because it's not too many of them come in and had watched it, were fans, tried for years, and as someone who's been in television, producer, a comedian, a writer, to me, it's very obvious, and I think it's becoming more obvious to the people at home, who is plodding along, playing along.
Yeah, calculating, who's not.
Freaking out over something that no normal person would ever freak out about, because they're
changing this about themselves, loving
I have to bring up this, I have to make this a bigger deal because otherwise this lunch is a bust, and it's ridiculous. So but I'm actually not surprised to hear that. Now, looking back on your performance, I'm not surprised to hear that you were not like someone who was into it.
No.
So how did they approach you?
Well, they really didn't. What happened was I knew Kelly Dodd. She hung out with my neighbor, and I had met her. We both live on the beach, my neighbor and I.
Right.
So he would have, really fun barbecues, and I would have barbecues, and together we'd barbecue neighborhood barbecue. Then I met Kelly one day, and I showed her my closet, and she was like, oh my God. And apparently I was rude to her, but I don't remember being rude to her, but I mean, we were both drinking, so it's possible. I'm like, oh God, another chick licks my closet. Don't please leave my shoes alone.
Yeah.
And then I got a call. So I hung out with Kelly. I got a call from Too Short, the rapper. He's a friend of mine. His manager David said that there was an opening. Since you know Kelly, do you want to go interview for Housewives? And I just didn't understand Kelly Housewives, and because I never asked her about it.
So did you have any social media, like your own Instagram or
Yes.
anything at the time?
So because of Edge, I had
Your company.
Yeah, my company media, social media, but I also had somewhat of mine, just for my family and friends.
Right.
I mean, I had like 300 followers. I didn't really
Right. Okay.
have anybody, and then it built up and built up because of Edge, and people want to know the CEO and my, whatever. And so when I don't know how I actually got the gig. I mean, I'm still shocked.
So you're like,
I mean,
so what did you think? So you go in for the interview and
I meet these awesome. So I walk into this building. I meet this building is very impressive. Evolution Media is they're on it. There's this room in the middle, kind of a clear room, and they interview me, and I meet these great producers, and I'm thinking, I saw the editing. I love editors. I love the whole technology part of it. And I'm surrounded by computers and tech, and I'm like, I love it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we love you. Go home. Let's, we'll think about it. We're going to come out and interview. And I said, great. So they came out, film me looking for We Care Rescue Ranch, which is my passion.
Right. We've
the animal
seen that
thing.
on the show.
And then they called me up and said, would you like it? And see, I had already been going to parties with the ladies knowing I already got the gig. And they didn't even know.
Without cameras on you.
Yeah. So they were kind of like, I got her on the show. And I'm like, so, it was really, really fun. But
So did you have any reservations prior to doing it?
No. Well, I mean, I did watch one of the shows. So I did go home and I was the one.
Which one did you watch?
Well, I watched the one with Vicky, who I really want to meet one day. And she was drunk in Spanx under a bar table.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my God, okay. But then I said to myself, strong women, empowering, I'm launching a vodka, this is wonderful. I could be with women that have exposed themselves. I'd gone through this nasty divorce. I was still going through it. I'm already exposed. Everything's out there. Who gives a fuck? Oh,
no, that's what you can say it.
I can say
Yeah,
it. Okay,
yeah.
sorry. Who gives a fuck if I'm, exposed? And, like I said before, I've been eaten alive by my ex-husband and his lawyers, and they tried to spit me out, but instead I came out looking like diamonds, right? Fucking.
Yeah.
And so I said, these housewives can't be any worse. And they're not. Actually, they're better than my ex-husband. So, I mean, look at him in Spanx under a bar doing shots of tequila, and you'd think that too. But, and so, it became one of those moments where I wanted to be part of the group, and I really wanted to, you have to be a strong woman to be on this show.
Right.
Like, there is no way you can't have some serious cojones. Well, now a couple of them do, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about your life before. You touch a little bit on it, that you came from very humble beginnings. So where did you grow up?
The Midwest. I was born in Missouri. I attended Faith Bible Tabernacle, which was a church in the Midwest, which was owned by my grandmother. I don't say ran because she profited from it big time. She was one of those pastors that took the offering and lived in a mansion and drove around.
So she never said, when I die, I want you to marry my husband.
I saw that.
Yes, that's Salt Lake City.
I never saw Salt Lake, but I saw the preview.
Yes.
I'm going to watch it because I've been just catching up on ours. But
yes,
holy
so
crap.
her mom started a church with her husband, who was her
Yes,
second
I heard
husband.
about this.
And then she
gotta watch
said,
this.
when I die, I want you, my granddaughter, to marry my husband, your
God.
step-grandpa,
Oh my
and
God.
you will continue the church. And I'm watching it, I'm just fascinated because I was raised Catholic, which the priests and nuns take a vow of poverty. And if they retire and they live in a little house, it's because a parish member gave them a little house.
Yeah.
There's no way, like when my Irish priest cousin would come, he would just have to hint at what he wanted. He'd be like, oh, this is a very nice club here at the, and we'd be like, oh, you want a new set of clubs, Father Jim? Like there's no way for them to make money. So for me, it's just very weird that these people like your grandmother and this girl are wearing, like you, but you did not get it off of people giving donations in a basket. And how are they now watching this girl, their
Ah,
high priestess or whatever you call it, and being like, I'm living in a shithole and I'm giving this woman 10% of my income.
brainwashed. 100%.
So your grandmother
Yes.
had a church like that.
Yes. 1,000,000%.
So would she encourage people to give 10% of their income?
More than that, your whole income. We all lived on a ranch. We all lived on the same property.
And so these people would give everything because they
Yeah, we lived in trailers, and some of them were homeless and on the farm, and she lived in a mansion.
Oh, even her grandchildren lived
Yes, I
poorly.
lived. All
She
5 of
didn't-
us.
She didn't share the money with the
No.
grandchildren.
No, in fact, when she died of constipation. No shit. And she got everything she deserved, and I'm very bitter about it. So yes,
So
I
was
have some
she
anger
your
about
dad's
her.
mom or your mom's
My
mom?
dad's mother. Yes.
And when did she start this church?
You know, back in the 70s. Yeah, but I can't give too much of the
Right, okay.
information. So
That's okay.
But
But that's crazy. Okay, so
Yeah.
that was your childhood, very poor.
it was a very abusive religious environment that I
Okay.
came from, which nobody knows. Surprise! I'm letting it out on your juicy scoop. But yeah, it's gonna play out on the show, so you're gonna have to just watch it. But
Oh,
it was
good.
very, very intense what I went through, and to be where I'm at today, I'm very proud.
So you graduated from high school there, yes? or
No, I moved from there. We got. I can't tell you.
Okay, we have
We
to watch that.
transitioned from the Midwest to Washington State.
Okay.
And I was supposed to be a preacher, and I chose to be a jazz vocal major instead.
Oh, okay. So you're supposed to study like religious studies
yes,
or whatever.
I defied the
Okay.
whatever and went into jazz because I wanted to heal people versus manipulate them.
Okay.
Because when they were speaking in tongues in the church and I faked it, they all believed me. And I'm
What
like,
is tongues?
I
I don't understand what tongues is.
So speaking in tongues is when they believe, which it's all bullshit.
Okay.
When they, because I did it and they all believe me, and I'm like, you guys are liars.
Okay.
When they believe that the Christ is speaking through your in the Christ language.
Okay.
From back in the day.
Oh.
So it's like blah, 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 blah. You
Do
know,
it.
and
Just- what,
I
can you do it?
can't.
You
I'm
can't
not
do it
ever
anymore?
going to do it. It gives me PTSD, and I'm not
Okay.
kidding. It gives me severe PTSD
Okay.
to talk about it.
Okay.
So this is tough for me, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay. So so it's like a made up language. thing.
Yes.
Okay, and you have to act dramatic, like the spirit's coming to you.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to have a moment.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, now,
I didn't think we were gonna go there.
no. I can
Sorry.
imagine what a
I never talk about it.
No, I can imagine what a crazy, like, false, life that was. It's almost like anything else, like a
Shit.
like a
Napkin.
gypsy. There's
God, I'm so sorry.
no, but
I've
can't-
never talked about it.
I
so.
mean, I can't imagine what that's like because that wasn't my life. But I find it, fascinating, and it's almost like you're, in a little
well, you're
like
in
a family of like
Sorry, okay, I'm
scammers
back.
almost, right?
I have to compartmentalize that moment of my life because
Yeah.
it's too heavy.
Right.
Going through that, it's
Yeah.
almost like you're in a bubble. And
Yeah.
so when you're secluded in the Midwest,
Right.
you don't have neighbors.
Right.
When you're living on, all this huge farm, you don't have people that tell you what's right or what's wrong.
So did you go to a regular school? or
no, private. They ran the school too.
Oh, okay.
We lived on in a religious group.
Commune, kind of?
Community, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Some people would call it a cult. But
Okay,
anyway,
uh-huh.
So what they did in that community was very intense,
Uh-huh.
and it's completely wrong. And in fact, I will, for the rest of my life, work towards shutting them all down because of what happened to me
Okay.
and my brothers and sisters and all the other kids on the community, and everything that happened there was just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So being where I'm at today and going through what I went through was, something that I think that any young child should never have to endure.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me to see them raise money and steal and manipulate, that religion to me is a joke. And I don't want to say that to some people that believe in Christ
Right.
and God, because there are the good churches out there, but what I experienced was not.
Okay.
So to come from the Midwest, to see the manipulation, to deal with all that, changed me. And it made me want to never be like that and to only help others, because I saw so much pain in so many people's eyes growing up that all I wanted to do was help people in my life. And music was my outlet. So I went to jazz because I learned that when I sang to people, they smiled, they laughed. It was laughter. So next year I'm recording a jazz album.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So you start to sing in college.
Yeah, so I started to sing in college because I wanted to give
And was
people
that
hope.
amazing to like be in a college community with different people? Like this is kind of probably the first time that you could really be social.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was an introvert, big time. I literally could not communicate with people because of where I came from. I thought I was weird and no one could understand me. So when I went to music school, they were all weird. I mean, Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle.
Yeah,
You're like, you're weird. Great. Perfect. Right up my alley.
Right.
So it was awesome. I auditioned. I got in on my own. I took
Yeah.
a Greyhound bus up there, auditioned for the college. No
Yeah.
money. Didn't know how I was going to pay for it. And just said, I'm going to do it. So I defied my family and went to Cornish College of the Arts. So
Okay, so now, and then didn't you meet your now ex-husband,
Yes.
but didn't you meet your husband while you were performing? What is that story?
Yes. So this is a great story because I used to perform at, I would go out. I had a little dinner theater called the Vargas Girls. We bring the sass and class to cabaret, not the sass and ass.
And how old were you when you started that?
That was, I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
And I was in college. And so I was excited because I finally got the balls to get up on stage and perform. And it took me years to do that. So I went to this really fancy place called El Gaucho in Seattle, and it's where all the men smoke cigars and everyone wore zoot suits and fabulous, right? So I started this dinner theater called the Vargas Girls, jazz cabaret. And this really handsome blonde man, a little shorter, but whatever, came in, and he was surrounded by a bunch of, obviously, his bankers, because they look like bankers. Now that I know this, they're all Asian. and they all sat down on this table, and he would order the most expensive wine. And so the owner was like, oh my God, sing to him. Because we used to have this show, it was called Love Wanted, where it was men and women and dating.
Yeah.
So I would sing to different tables and hand out chocolate cigars for the men and little 2 balls of chocolate for the women in the show.
Right.
And it was really fun. Well, I would sing to him, and he was coming back all the time. And then I sang Big Spender, and he was sold. So then it was just...
The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender. Good looking, so refined. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? You know what is crazy? What's so weird about the universe and the world is I just talked about my cousin, Father Jim, who was like old, like my dad's age. And I sang that in a play that he came to see, and he would always bring it up. Oh, Heather, sing that Big Spender. Isn't that weird that I've had so many strange things happen like that. No, but like honestly. And then I could remember every word of that. I haven't sang that since I was like
And you
16.
sounded great.
Well, okay,
the universe is very awesome.
So you
universe.
sing that song.
I sing this song.
And this is many weeks that he's coming in.
Yes.
And when does it go to an actual date or encounter?
Well, he came in a lot for 4 years. Took a long time. So for 4 years, we were going to lunches and doing all this stuff. Kind of like he would take me places, but they were always secret places.
But are you having an affair? Like,
apparently at that time, yes, I was.
Oh, because he was still married.
Yes, which I did not know.
Okay, but you're to you, he's your boyfriend.
To me, he's so powerful and fun, and
he's your sexy boyfriend.
That he's like on a business trip. Oh, I can't bother him. He'll just text me when he's back, and I would like be anxiously awaiting for him to return.
And would you share?
But I didn't know he was going home to his wife, so it was a little bit weird.
So but was it so secretive that you couldn't share with your girlfriends or the other Vargas girls? No, they knew.
They all knew. Like,
okay.
It was the oddest thing to find out he was married because he didn't hide it very well to everybody else because he took me to all the restaurants. So.
All the fancy restaurants in Seattle.
That apparently he, like everybody that knew him, just covered for him. I mean, I knew all of his best friends.
And did he like put you up in like a nice place? Was he supporting you
The whole
financially?
works. He was my little.
So this was the first time that you ever had any
I was
real...
a broke jazz singer. I had no money. I was living in my car before that, trying to pay for college.
So
I'm like, wait, a nice penthouse apartment? A Mercedes?
Oh my God, this is also like 50 Shades of Grey.
I'm like,
Isn't it a little bit like 50 Shades of Grey? Remember she was in Seattle and then he was like the Seattle billionaire or whatever?
But he was so handsome, and he pulls up in his Lamborghini in Diablo, and the door lifts up and he's like, hi, get in. And I was like, okay, I'll take that nice $200 lunch. I just went and got some bone broth to put in some water and drink. Because I couldn't afford gas in my car or anything. And I'm like, how did this happen? So I just kept singing to him.
Was this, so how old were you when you started to see him romantically?
It was 20s.
So was this like the first love of your life?
Yeah, 100%. So
you had never really had a real boyfriend before that?
Or anybody that cared to pay attention to me, to take care of me, not just emotionally, but financially. He's an awesome man. It's just... he's a little dysfunctional.
So then when is it that you guys can be open romantically, and when do you get married? Like how many years?
We were romantic from 2000 on all the way till we got married, and then...
What year did you get married?
2012. I waited that long for him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we got engaged in 2009 or 10 at Skibo Castle in Scotland at Andrew Carnegie's home. We were both members, and I'm a member now, so I got the membership.
Oh, that's good.
Divorce.
Yeah.
And so we got engaged there, and he told me not to tell anybody. Because at the time, I didn't know why. I'm thinking, I want to tell my mom, but he's like, don't tell anybody we're engaged. And I was like, why? I'm at a castle. There's a bagpipe guy. You're proposing to me. I want to tell the world. And I couldn't. He loved to keep a secret. And I was a big secret to him. And I did not know that he had multiple other long-term relationships that he didn't tell them he was marrying me. So he didn't want them to know.
Oh, you weren't the only side piece.
I wasn't.
And did he has children though, right?
Yes, he has 3 children.
And did you know about them though?
Oh, I knew about them later, or before I was married, but yes, I knew about them.
But had you ever socialized with them or been introduced to them?
Yes, but not really, in an odd way. One of them just kind of showed up to the house, and I couldn't figure out. We were having a barbecue, and I'm like, there's a kid here. Yeah, so that was how I got introduced to the first one. And then, the second one... Anyway, I don't want to talk about his kids because they're great.
Okay.
But
so then, so you get married in 2012. Now, from 2000 to 2012.
Yes.
When you're
February 12th, 2012.
When he's the only man in your life, but you're not the only woman in his.
Correct.
And you're the. What are you doing with your days when you're not getting $200 luncheons and shopping with him? Are you pursuing singing? Are you
Edge
just
music.
living? So you're still like
2009. I started Edge Music. 9 years ago, so that would be 2011.
And did
2000
so
I started Edge Music.
Supportive, or did he help you start that business?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
He was my financier for a lot of it. And the reason why is because he believed in what I was doing, and that's one thing that I absolutely am thankful for, because he believed in me at first. And he even supported the Vargas girls back in the day. He gave me my first $13,000 investment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then he just supported me along the way. And then, he also wanted me, I traveled in private jets and helicopters and Lamborghinis, and it just became overwhelming, the amount of assets this man had that I had never been exposed to. So it's addictive when you start getting that treatment and start feeling that way. And then when we got married, it was like, we didn't have a prenup, nothing. And so it was, not that mattered, but everyone's like, did you get a prenup? No. Whatever. And so it just became my life.
So now when you get married and the other women, did any other women come out?
Oh, yes.
And
I got a no. Yes. Yes. I was at my Christmas party, and I was approached. And
as the wife now?
As the wife.
Okay.
2014. And I got a nice long a message from her, which was in our court documents.
On your phone, you mean? Or
no? Yeah, on Facebook. She wrote
Okay.
me on Facebook the next morning. I wrote her and said, "Hey, I heard a little his story last night regarding you and my husband. To be true to yourself, you have first need to be true to others. You first need to be true to yourself. Welcome to the family." That's what I wrote her.
Because it didn't bother you that he had
Oh,
had
it
other
did. 100%. It hurt the hell out of me.
But you were now used to it, or how could you be so like cynical about it?
Oh, I was cynical as hell because he and I have always kind of dabbled in threesomes and things like that.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
parties and fun, because that's what he required. That's what he wanted. I did not want that. He wanted
So the
that.
first time that he said that to you, let's invite someone else into our bedroom, another girl.
Yeah, it was one of my best friends. And I was a little shocked, but I did it because I was already being taken care of. I had my, there's a, you know, my.
Do you feel like it was a little bit, and 50 Shades of Grey is fictional, and I'm not saying you did, you know, S&M, but do you feel like because you were essentially inexperienced in sex and love when you met him?
I wasn't inexperienced. I never said I was inexperienced.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, he's my first love. There's a difference between sex and love,
good.
honey.
Okay.
in my
Well,
my book.
was it your first threesome with him? Or had you done? Oh, so then you were so you're down.
I dabble. I mean, I'm not a practicing bi, and I don't claim to be a lesbian, but
okay. But you were like into it.
You know, I at the time, you know, I'm curious, like, you know, young women are, and
okay.
You know, when you're younger, you kind of, you know, I mean, I don't know, you kind of play around.
So who suggested it? I feel like
he did, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, and you know, for me, I just thought that was normal because.
And was that the first time you got with your best friend?
Yeah, of course.
And how did she feel about it? Was it weird afterwards?
Because, I wish I could tell you the whole scoop, but I can't.
Okay.
Because, you know, I guess I just was so enamored with him that I just thought this is a different life than what I'm used to. I guess this was what I need to do to keep him happy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're getting... He's such a, you know, providing so much in so many other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Supporting your business along with, you know, this lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
That you're like, okay. And then once you've already done it once, how do you all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm not into this anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's when, after I got married, I said, you have a decision to make. I'm either going to be your wife, your girlfriend, your lover, your mistress. You figure, what do you want me to be? Because this isn't working for me. And then I find out there was multiple other relationships. Now, I don't mind him. When we were together, it was fine. But as soon as
you were together, you're okay with
him
having extramural
together,
stuff.
not separate.
You were okay with having someone join you in the bedroom with him?
No. I was never okay with it. It just
you accepted it.
Well, I had accepted some
okay.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay.
But you know, when it became where he was having the affairs outside of the marriage, and they were just flat out affairs. One was 5 years. Careful those massage therapists. You know, and then I get this, you know, letters from them, and then I had a bunch of women claiming.
And were the women nasty to
you?
you?
Oh my God, I got letters. No, they were like, Elizabeth, I've been with him this long. Another woman was like, I've been with him this long. Women from London, women from San Francisco, from NorCal, even from my home.
So they all thought they were the only
in Newport Beach. When he started banging girls in Newport Beach, that's when I drew the line and I divorced him. I'm like, now you're in my backyard. You can do it in Norway. You can do it in New York. You can do it in San Francisco. You can do it in Seattle. You can do it in wherever you're doing it. Don't do it in Newport Beach. And that's when I filed for divorce because I had it. He brought him to my house at the Madison Club. I had it. I was so fed up.
What's the Madison Club?
It's a very poshy country club that we built a home together from nothing, and it was.
So it's a home within the gates of the country club.
It's a golf country club. It's gorgeous, and they did a great job with it. And we joined it because I wanted a serenity area that I could go to that no other women had tainted. Because his other house, he had so many women there that it was. So I said, okay, now that we're married, we can actually start a relationship. I thought we went backwards. We played, dabbled, had fun.
Okay.
But now that we're married, I thought...
True commitment.
Yeah, like we could literally have a committed relationship. And I was totally wrong.
And do you think because you had accepted his extracurricular love life all these years, do you think that he felt a little duped that once he married you, that you didn't continue with that acceptance?
100%. And I didn't say I wouldn't. I just, it, I asked him, because I can't go to a freaking board meeting. And I can't just mentally, I can't compartmentalize like that. It was too much.
Right.
And so
When you say I can't go to a board meeting, you mean for yourself or for his company?
Both.
And knowing that everybody
Both.
knows that there's all these
both.
other chicks.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I would go to a dinner and know that if he took me where he took his wife, then these other women.
The wife,
the
before
first wife.
You. Okay.
Then he's doing the same thing to me.
Right.
Which is karma. I deserve it. I mean, I should have left him the minute I found out he was married. 4 to 5 years after I was with him. I should have left him.
You didn't know for 4 years he had a wife.
No.
And
I knew he had some other girl. I thought it was just some floozy from Seattle. I didn't realize it was a family. So technically, he made me the bad guy, and I even got calls from the kids, and it wasn't even me, by the way. He had another girl, allegedly named that I knew that looked just like me. So the family assumed I was the one at these parties with his ex-wife, and I wasn't even there. And I knew for a fact I wasn't there. So I'm like, I call him up. Who in the fuck is this that's at these parties? Because I'm at home working on Edge. And he's like, because I'm getting calls from the kids and the ex, like, stay out of our parties. I'm like, who in the fuck? And so it was bad. It was so horrific.
That was before you were married.
Yes, and then I fucking stayed with him.
And then when you got married, I always find that
I love him. Still love him.
I always feel it's like very interesting because it's like
as a friend, obviously.
You know, I think with a lot of people of enormous wealth and celebrity and NBA players and that kind of thing, I think there is an understanding between the woman as like.
They're providing
I'm
this.
number one.
Yes,
I'm number one.
As long as I'm number one and not number 5.
Yeah, you only have babies with me. You don't bring anybody to the house. What you do on tour with your friends.
Don't take them to your restaurants.
Don't ask, don't tell policy. But then when they get sloppy.
That's what he did.
And then other people find out. It's like, well, now you've embarrassed me, fucker. You could have had the best life
now I'm
ever.
number 5.
Yeah, and I'm in.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and if you're you weren't famous at the time, but especially if you're someone who's famous, you don't want the
Vargas
world.
vodka.
Now you're famous, but I'm saying, if someone who is famous, they someone who has a persona of being a strong woman and everything, and then it turns out that her baby dad or her husband is, cheating.
You have to have that persona of being strong.
Then you almost are like, well, fuck, now I have to leave you because. All these other
you did it. He screwed it up.
All these other people are going to be like, how could you stick around? We
would go to our country club, and the women would look at me, and I knew that look because they had seen him around the club with other women.
What's the look? What's the look? I'm you.
Okay, so the women are like, "Hi, Elizabeth. How's it going?
It's going
great. So great to see you."
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
You weren't here last weekend. Saw him on the golf course. Yeah. Well, good to see you again. Yeah. Let's have a drink. And
why are you running away?
Like, what happened? Did I miss something?
Because they're uncomfortable.
Because they
like you and they know.
And then he put them in a compromised position.
Right.
That's the look. And I'm twitching in my seat because it was so uncomfortable at the end of our relationship that I said to myself, I am building my brand, and this is not part of my future. And I had to hire a law firm, and I had to divorce him in order for me as a woman to actually respect myself. I lost respect. I gained a bunch of weight. I was depressed. I was drinking all the time. I was going out. I was trying to bang everything in Newport. I was like, anybody freak? Open for business. My husband doesn't care. So I was really destructive, and it's not healthy. So I divorced him so I could be who I am today, which I'm slowly getting there, and I'm very proud.
So when you got married in 2012, did you have a big wedding with your family?
No, he didn't want anyone knowing.
So where'd you get married?
So we secretly invited, we got married in the Bahamas at a Discovery Land company, which is my club in La Quinta. It's the Madison, it's a division of the Madison Discovery Land company in the Bahamas. Anyway, at a house. And we invited Queen. We had Yes, the band. Not the whole bands, but
Queen.
all the bands were there.
Who's Queen?
Queen, the band.
Oh, Queen. Oh, wow.
Yeah. We had, because I'm in music, so I knew all the rockers.
Okay. I thought you meant like a actual Queen showed up. I don't know.
That could be today's society. No, we had like rockers there.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Okay, yes, the Queen of London.
Yeah.
England. No, he had rocker bands there. And what happened was we had John Paul DeJoria came, my partner, and my vodka.
Yeah.
So we'd been friends for these people all these years. Edge Music, I knew a lot of people. He did not want my family there. So he says, you can't invite your family because I don't want to invite mine. And I was like, I'm inviting my mother. I didn't pick my colors. Destination. I didn't pick any. I picked the destination kind of, but
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. His assistant did everything. In fact, I just got one little email that said, "These are the colors. Do you like them?" Okay, click.
Now, do you wonder
And then I showed up and got married.
Why do you think he did ask you to marry him after all those years of being able to have you by his side along with living a life that you were allowing him to live? Like, why do you think he asked you to marry him?
Who's listening? There were some specific business reasons why he needed to wed.
Okay.
And I hold myself very well in meetings. And I think the continuity of being in a stable relationship is very important in business when you're refinancing. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
and
okay.
so I, had my own business, and I don't have a non-impressive background. And
Right.
I follow through. I stick with my gut. I stick with everything that I know. I presented myself very well. And I think at the time he needed that.
And so when he did ask you, you were like any other girl that gets presented by someone saying, "Spend the rest of my life with me. I love you."
He actually didn't even get on a knee. He just kind of goes, and I'm thinking, this is like, you're supposed to be on your knee. And I go, and then I had to ask him, "Are you going to ask me to marry you?" He goes, "Will you marry me?" And then just kind of put my ring on. I was like, this is really weird.
So it's not what you'd imagine. Had you hoped
No.
that it would come one day? Or were you surprised that it came at all? Like, what were you
No,
thinking?
I was totally shocked. I just assumed because he had told me he was worth so much and he was so rich he could never marry. And I was like, okay,
see.
well,
Okay.
I'm leaving you then because I'm not sitting around rotting like the rest of the women that you're banging. So, so when he proposed, I was shocked, but I was happy because I thought he finally loves me.
Yeah.
This is great. We can be a unit. We can be
A power
couple.
couple. Yeah.
Because I went to every charity, every event.
Right.
I mean, it was amazing. And the people he knew were very sweet people. Seattle's a really small community. They all knew his ex-wife. So I was embarrassed to be seen with him at these events because I heard, what he did to her. And then it was just all the way around. It was the bad situation. And I did it for security. And I don't know what I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I loved him. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I actually truly loved him. I still do as a friend, but
Yeah, because we saw on the show that you kind of had a breakdown and that it was finally actually coming to some finale, that you wouldn't have any kind of communication with him coming up if this was to end. We see on the show that you're crying to your mom. And I think that was very understandable. It's like a huge chapter of your life that is ending,
Yeah.
for finally, even though it was a struggle, even though it was a lot of pain. I think that's always just, a weird thing to go through.
Divorce is, in my family, they don't divorce. My mom did, but my grandparents have been married for years and years and years.
The other grandparents, not the church
No,
grandparents.
not the church ones. Yeah, those, forget it. My mom's side, they're the German side.
Yeah.
Got the Germans and the Mexicans.
Yeah.
They don't divorce. They're very loyal. And so it was it's a bit of for me, it was a failure. And I was losing Edge. He quit helping me with Edge.
Okay.
The more successful I became with Edge, the more he stopped funding me, stopped helping me, complained a lot that I was working too much. The more press I got from Edge, the more successful I was, the less he wanted to be with me. And it was really odd.
Interesting. Yeah.
It was a terrible feeling to know that I was never going to be able to be successful because he was never going to be happy if I was.
Wow.
And to see that non-support at the end was heartbreaking. And then to lose him, because I had to. I just couldn't stay there. And then to lose, his family I loved. To lose all of it, and I don't care about the helicopters, the jets. I don't care about any of that. I cared that I lost my soul and I had completely lost myself. And if I lose myself, I can't love others. And I couldn't love anything. I was numb.
So when you say you were together with, it was 20 years because you met him in 2000.
It was 17 years. And then last 3 years, we've known each other getting through a divorce.
Got it.
We just divorced, and that's been 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So 17 years total.
So,
That's a commitment. I mean, he doesn't get any more committed than
No.
17 years.
I mean, exactly. I mean,
So,
and
I'm a loyal person.
and
What can I
you
say?
and then you talked a little bit on the show that we already saw about possibly wanting to freeze your eggs or having a child in the future because you never did have a child with him.
He didn't want one.
And so you took all the precautions to make sure that you didn't have one.
Yeah. And then he allegedly had one with someone else. So it was very heartbreaking. And
Yeah.
but my whole life's been kind of like heartbreak, up, heartbreak. So
I can't believe that there isn't more. Like, I mean,
Oh, I can't tell you the scoop.
okay, well, I'm just saying, like, if
Watch the show.
I would assume it,
Wrap it up. He doesn't even know what the word wrap it up means. It doesn't mean on camera, honey.
it doesn't mean wrapping up your dick in a condom either, I guess. I don't know. But
Those Norwegians. Free love, free love.
so that one must have been, yeah. So now how do you feel about that in the future? Do you still think you say you're, super aunt, which I love. So you have a lot of children in your life, but do you
Yes.
think you ever may or may not want to pursue actually having a child of your own?
At this point, after COVID, it's been such a treacherous time for so many people and kids and moms and schools that I don't know what the future holds. So at this time, no. However, I do still have that, I still have that love for children.
Yeah.
My nieces and nephews fulfill that craving, and
I love that. Yeah.
I just love them, and I really want to support them and, make sure they all can make it to college and make sure they all can get a good education because, I couldn't.
Right. So you also financially help them.
100%. And
Yeah.
actually my ex does. So thank you, ex.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the time, his financial support helped support my family the entire time I was with him. So I stayed with him also because I supported my mother. And I
Right,
supported
that's a
my
lot, yeah.
my sister who was an addict. And I supported a lot of people
Oh,
through the
that's
money he
right.
gave me every month. He didn't know I did that, but I supported I never spent it. I gave it to my family.
And
So-
how many siblings do you have? You have the one sister and then...
I have 5 immediate, and I had 3 step. I have 1 step now, and I had 3, but my dad passed away, so his wife. I guess the other 2 are my other. What do you call them?
Half. Oh, half.
But they're not
siblings.
really related. I don't know. They're over there.
Okay.
They're awesome too. So I have a lot of children. I have 17 nieces and nephews.
Uh-huh.
I got like Sam, and I got Red, and I got Andrew and his kids, and I got Jonathan, and I got
Right.
Anna and her kids. And David, my little brother, doesn't have any. Thank you, God. David, don't do this to me, please. So, I love animals, and
Yeah.
I really want to help animals and children. And so I guess for me, I see my future now as, this show is great. Being on the Housewives is great. I mean, I'm learning a lot about myself, and that's one thing I didn't expect.
Yeah.
And it's given me an outlet to be free and say, you know what, fuck it. This is who I am. It's even more out there than my divorce.
Yeah.
And it's freeing because it is reality and it is real, and everything I do is real. So I want to be able to take this realness and transfer that energy into helping animals with We Care Rescue Ranch and my Vargas vodka, which goes to the rescue ranch. So this is why I'm doing Vargas vodka.
Awesome.
These are griffins. So this is based on the story of Queen Califia, the black Amazonian woman who's the ruler of California. Queen Califia.
I don't know this
Whenever
story.
a man would come to, their Spaniards came to California thinking they were coming for the gold.
Yeah.
So if you see, there's a compass on there. So that's me coming to California.
Yeah.
These are griffins, okay? Vargas is my name. It's a Spanish name. And they would come to California.
And that's your maiden name?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. And they, maiden name, is that when you're married?
That's before you're married.
Before you're married, yes.
Yes,
maiden
yes.
name. Sorry about that. I need to I'm not a very good marriage person, obviously. But anyway, sorry. There's certain things I don't catch in life.
Yeah.
But no, so Queen Califia used to, these men would come.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big, woman thing, woman, but the men would come and try and steal her gold. They thought California was an island. And so she was this ruler, this mythical ruler, and she would then take her army of griffins, these little guys, and conquer the Spaniards and then feed them to her griffins for food.
What are griffins, though?
Griffins are like little dogs, little animals. These are little
Oh.
animals. So on here it says, if you see it says
Yeah.
Spirit of Adventure, which is all of the men coming to California and trying to steal the gold from Queen
Right.
Calipia. And then I wrote taste of the legend because the men must have tasted good because these guys were fatty.
I love it.
So there's secrets behind
Like a
my
whole story, yeah.
Well, wait till the website goes live, 12/20/2020. We're launching the whole alcohol.
right around the corner. Yeah.
Yes, it's right around the corner. I'm very excited about it, but there are some secrets behind my vodka. It's 7 times distilled grain vodka from California, and I came to California for the gold. Just like the Spaniards did. But
Yeah.
I'm not eating Queen Calipia. I'm not trying to defeat
Yeah.
her. I'm trying to work with her. So I think this vodka is pretty amazing, and it's very smooth sipping vodka, but also the gold's going to help feed the animals.
Cool.
Does that make
I
sense?
love it. Yeah.
So it's a mythical story that's really great for the imagination, but it's really good vodka. So it's cool. I just thought, what else during a pandemic? Vodka.
I love it.
So, yeah.
So, okay, let's have some other little frivolous questions.
Okay.
Okay, love your Louis Vuitton outfit.
Thank you. I just got this.
Very cute.
Yeah, they sent it to me. Isn't that great? I mean, of course, I paid for it, but because of COVID, you can't really try anything on.
You can try stuff on.
Yeah, but there's like lines and bleh.
Oh, well, if you want to go right over here, Neiman's Markets.
They don't have lines?
No.
If I go with you, can I get in somewhere?
No, there is no line.
Oh.
Yeah, at Neiman Marcus, there's no line. But then if you go outside the mall, yes, there's a line. There is a line at Louis Vuitton, and there is a line at some of the other like.
Because she
Gucci.
knows this, I love her.
Yeah. I just went the other day just to like feel it out, and I was like, oh, okay, like there, yeah, Neiman's not a line, but the specialty store.
And this is Christina. I'm wearing Christina's jewelry today, so she's my jewelry designer.
Oh,
See?
very pretty.
Isn't that cool? She made that. She makes jewelry
yeah.
for me. And then she has like this little necklace.
Now, what's this ring?
I bought this for myself for divorce.
Oh my God, how many carats is this?
It's 15 and a half.
And that's a yellow diamond?
Yes, but it's, it's I traded a lot of diamonds in for it. I didn't just buy it cash. Don't worry, everybody. My ex-husband showered me with diamonds and Rolexes every time he'd screw up. No. And
So you got a lot.
So I got a lot of diamonds and a lot of Rolexes. Actually, I do have a lot, but don't worry, they're at Chase Bank. They're not at my house, FYI.
So don't come for me. So, okay, let's talk. You look great. You
Thank
said
you.
you had gained weight, but you
Yes.
obviously have lost a lot of weight.
Getting there. Oh, I got camel toe.
What plastic surgery have you had done that you're willing to share?
Oh, what have I not?
Do tell.
Well, interestingly enough, my ex-husband loves the plastic surgery. He loves lips and he loves everything you can imagine. And I never liked it. So for the first plastic surgery I ever did was, he used to always pinch me and go, oh, that's going to your butt and it's going to this. And he'd tell me I was getting fat. So well, I know. So he flew me to another state to get lipo.
Way back.
On
when?
the jet to get lipo.
This is like a long time ago then.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've had some lipo on my inner thighs, outer thighs.
Okay.
Just to make my thighs a little. It's called sculpting.
Okay.
So it's not really lipo. It's more like this laser thing.
Okay.
And then I had Botox.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've had obviously
Boobs. Those look good. Yeah.
Thank you. I actually got them reduced because I had them too big.
Oh, they were too big. Yeah.
And then let's see, what else did I have? I had a little lipo right here from Dr. Gabbay. Thank you, Dr. Gabbay.
Under the chin.
Because when I lost weight, I had little skin here.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of weird, so I just lifted it a tiny bit. No one knows this, but I did it.
Looks good.
Thank you. It was just a tiny little...
You have a really young, because you have like a round face, so you have a very young face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you are young.
No, I'm not.
How old are you?
How old are you?
I'm 50.
We're the same, almost same age.
No, you're not that old.
I'm 45, gonna be 46.
Oh, well, that's not the same age.
Yes, it is.
Why are you rounding up like a weirdo?
Because I'm almost 50. And I'm proud of my titties.
I thought you were more like 41.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I was also like, okay, doing the math too, but yeah.
45 and life to go, honey.
Okay, yeah, you look great.
It's a good age to launch a vodka. See, all I want to do is have hot men fanning me that are Brazilian, 6'5", and drink my vodka.
I love it.
I'm at that age now.
Well, what is up with your love life? What can you share? Now, I don't want to do any spoilers for the show. Because in the show, we see that you have a boyfriend.
Jimmy, he is my boyfriend. We had gone through such a hard time in my divorce and
Right.
finally started rekindling. And then I went on the show and now we're having a hard time again. So, we will see.
Yeah, not everyone. It's a hard thing. But what I do think what's great about housewives like you, and I said this to Carol Radswell from Real Housewives of New York, you're in a great position because unlike other housewives that go on the show, they're really putting their family in jeopardy. They're kind of putting their marriage in jeopardy if they have teenage kids. That's a lot for a kid to
Yes.
take between being on the show and social media and everything else. And the cameras are following them. And then the kid acts like a little bratty sometimes. And then everybody's like, your kid's a brat. And then the kid's like, I'm sorry, I was a brat. Like, it's a lot.
I was just a kid.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I just wanted that Dev scooter.
So I always feel like it's kind of great when you can actually have the fun of the show of
Yeah.
truly just being with your girlfriends where you're not putting your marriage or your kids in jeopardy. So you're in a great
Definitely,
position,
definitely. I've seen firsthand families fail and fall apart firsthand this year from the show. And it's sad when people choose fame over family.
Yeah.
But there are some people that do, and
Well, I think fame is a form of an addiction.
100%.
And
1,000,000%.
And some people, can roll with it. Some people might have had a little bits of fame in their life, like Kyle Richards, and then she gets it. And I think that's one of the reasons she is still, very successful and with her family and her business and being on the show.
She uses it as a tool.
Yes, and then she had it, and she actually had, training as an actress and everything.
Oh,
And
she
then
did?
She was Kyle Richards.
I know, but I
they
don't
were
know her
like
history.
they were child.
I don't watch TV
they were,
very much.
Okay, well, they were child Hollywood kid actors.
Oh, so she made it.
And even when she was in her mid-20s, she was still guest starring on like shows.
Wow.
And then she like had all these kids, and then this show came, and so I just find that interesting. But then I also think there's people that didn't have it at anything before that can also use it in a great wise way, and they don't totally change. And then there's people that get it.
And they're a disaster.
And they love it more than anything. They wanted this since the day they were born, but they didn't do anything to get it. They weren't singing on a lounge chair. They weren't in a play.
No.
But they always was like, one day I'll be famous. And then one day it happens, and it's a
Who
little...
do I have to kill to do it?
Yeah, and it really takes over their life. And then I don't know how they would know how to live if and when it ends. You kind of worry about some of these people. You're like, where are they going to be?
Well, I worry about their children because, to be an adult and be famous is different. But when you're also carrying kids under your wing and you're trying to show them how to live life because, they're sponges. They want to learn from you.
Yeah.
And to be on TV, you've got to really have a strict regime of who you are because those kids will see the dysfunction.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be dysfunctional. So it's fame is an interesting monster. And I'm very lucky to, I don't even tag my nieces. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm not. No, this is I'm doing this for fun and for vodka.
I don't tag my kids or anything.
No.
And occasionally with my stepdaughter, who's now 21, I'll be like, do you want me to put you on this? Because she's like, sometimes I guess she kind of, I'm like, you might kind of like it. Like you're 21, you might like a few more followers.
Yeah,
and everybody's so sweet.
Yeah.
But also, we're not on a show where, someone's
totally
acting like a
exposed.
brat or something. No one's seeing that. So it's like, I can imagine, I empathize with how hard it is, too, for a lot of these women who provide so much entertainment for me.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, shit, I'm glad I'm not in it.
Well, I love the pretty mess. What's her?
Erica Jane.
Erica Jane. Oh my God, I love her. And then
now,
also,
what do you think? She's in the hot water now.
Oh my God,
with her divorce. So, what's your opinion about that?
Husbands, you got to be kidding. Now she's got to carry her husband's bullshit. It's like, how many of us have to carry these fucking men's mistakes?
That's what I said. I'm like,
oh my
look,
God,
whatever
that
this
poor woman.
Whatever this is, it is what it is. But there's no way that Erica Jane was like, Tom, let me tell you what I want you to do. Get that money and give it to me. Like, that never happened.
100%.
How, in fact, someone is suing them, and if there was something that was not done totally on the up and up, I don't think it was like her intention, you know?
No,
and
never.
So, but I'm excited to see it kind of play out on the
Yeah.
show because I think she's kept her life very,
Well, look at her. She's
very
guarded.
surfacey. Yeah, very surfacey. We got
Yeah.
to see the Glam Squad, which did provide a lot of entertainment, but we never
haven't seen
really
that
got
yet.
to see. Oh,
When was that? Last week?
no, when the show's been on, I cannot believe you don't watch these shows. This is like unbelievable.
I'm just catching up on ours.
Just catch up on yours, and then go and then.
Apparently, there's some
watch-
other lady that had
you
money
gotta
from
watch
back in the day.
You gotta watch Beverly Hills from the beginning, and then you'll
Okay.
see what I mean about Kyle and Kim being these child stars.
Okay.
And then you'll see what I mean of when Erica comes into play and where she is now.
I just
And
love how she's like this.
Beverly Hills, New York, and OC. Those are the best ones.
Okay. Well,
I love
Beverly Hills,
a
New York.
lot
I
of
love
them.
New York. I love New
I
York.
love a
just
lot of
started
them, but
watching
I'm
some of
like,
those.
if you were really just gonna like only watch some, and I'm like almost envious of people that and there's a lot of young people now that are starting to watch it from the beginning, like on Hulu, and they're like
That's what
loving
I'm
it.
on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And wait, the woman in New York, the short hair, crazy, not Miranda. No, Miranda's on Sex and the City, right? The short
Dorinda.
Dorinda.
Yes.
Yeah, she's fucking hilarious.
Clip.
Clip.
Yeah, I made the Berkshires nice. You all upset? Don't you tell me? I don't pay for John. He's not my husband. I don't care about
She's
you.
like,
Yeah.
I need her to drink some. I love
Send it
her.
to her. Yeah.
I just started watching her, and I am truly enjoying watching her.
So, I mean, so you've been in Newport for a while now, since 2000 and what? You said 14?
Years and years. I moved down
You
here.
love it. You're never gonna leave. You love
No.
Newport.
I absolutely. Well, first off, I used to come here as a child when my grandparents are from here, my German side.
Okay.
So my mother would take us here on a train from Missouri,
Oh,
and we
wow.
go to Disneyland. So my dream was to live, and I have one photo of my dad where I'm in a little red bathing suit. I'm on the beach right in front of my house.
Oh wow.
So I don't know how I ended up buying that house.
You manifested it.
I did, and
That
it
is
happened.
insane.
Be careful what you manifest.
And when you
it
saw
comes true.
when you saw the photo,
Yeah.
is it then that you realized the house was there, or did you see
No.
the house and remember the photo?
I bought the house, and then my mom goes, "By the way, that's you and your dad in front of your house." And I
Chills.
couldn't even. I still
Yeah,
got it right
yeah,
now. I
yeah.
was like, "What?" And so, Newport Beach is my home, and it always will be. In fact, I'm so proud of our community, and I know that a couple of the cast, well, one of the cast members in particular hates Newport Beach,
Okay.
and it's okay. It's a different life, and I'm very proud of our community. I'm a business owner. I'm very proud. I know all the business owners there. I support them. I go to the meetings. I love the Chamber of Commerce. I'm an Elks member.
Yeah.
I'm a member of BBC. I'm trying to be part of the community. I donate to the police force. I really believe in your community, regardless if it's Newport Beach or anywhere else. I just
Right,
love
yeah.
Newport Beach.
You
but
should be proud of where you live. And if
Yeah.
you're not, and if it making you that unhappy, thank God this is America, and you can
you
move
can move
to
anywhere
wherever
you want.
Yeah. So yeah, but that would be hurtful if someone was just like, I hate Woodland Hills or I hate Calabasas, which is where I'm at right now.
Well, and to
like
work
that
with
would
someone
hurt me because I've lived here my whole life, and I came back here. I bought the house next door to my parents. Like I have that sense of pride.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that. And I love the OC, and I'm coming to stay with you and having
You
fun.
should. We call it Sounds of Summer. So I have put on my fireplace. I have a little rescue dog running around. I make a martini or wine. I love wine, and
Yeah.
I have my girlfriends come over, and I used to have a hot tub. We used to have hot tub happy hour, and we would just watch all the tourists go by. And you should come. It is. People are happy. They come to the beach to be happy and to get out of
Yeah.
their heads. And I love being in that environment because I think, like you said, you need to respect your environment any way you can because you live there.
Yeah.
No matter what you disagree or agree on,
Yeah.
respect your neighbors, your community, and your environment.
So I love you on the show.
Thank you.
Everybody, tell everybody where they can go to the website, look for the vodka.
VargasVodka.com. Woohoo! You heard it here first.
And of course, the show is on Wednesdays. And do you have any idea how many more episodes are left?
I cannot say, but there's a lot.
Okay.
So I'm very excited that.
And do you have your date of when you're shooting the reunion yet? Do you know? When that,
I cannot
But it hasn't
disclose
happened.
that, but it has not
Okay.
happened.
Do you know what kind of outfit you're going to wear?
Oh,
what kind
God.
of dress?
Look out, ladies. It's probably, I can't really say much about it, but it's going to be a good one.
Good.
I know it's going to be explosive. I'm scared for a couple of the cast members,
Okay.
including myself, because, COVID, we haven't been able to get at each other.
Yeah.
So this is going to be pretty intense. I've never been confronted like I know I'm going to be confronted. I was warned. So this is going to be pretty intense. I'm going to have to go to one of those shields.
So far you're having fun though,
Yes.
and God willing, the show continues. You would you would very much want to continue on this journey.
100%, yes. And it's the journey of self-love as well as self-preservation on this show. So go to vargasbaca.com, and as long as my name and my vodka is in your mouth, I'm in.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Awesome.
having me, hon.
You're very fun.
Jazz night.
Yeah, we're doing a whole song and dance show. We're going on tour.
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Well, look at your cool little...
I love it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.